All right, so today I'm joined by SD the Reaper Dumas. How are you, bro?
I'm doing good, man. How about you, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm happy to have you on. You stirred up a little bit of controversy yesterday, which is what we'll
Mm.
lead into. But just to start it off, just tell everyone who you are and where you're from a little bit.
Um, I'm Sedriques the Reaper Dumas. A lot of people go by SD. But really, bro, I'm the Reaper. The notorious street fighter from Florida. So I'm just, that's how I'm coming towards people. That's just it.
For sure, yeah. And that's actually like why I started fucking with you in the first place, is I heard you're a street fighter from Florida. But is that where you're originally from? Because looking back on your Instagram, I'd be seeing a lot of Mobile, Alabama, or something like that.
Nah, bro. I just train in Mobile. That's it. A lot of people get a lot of stuff confused. I'm from Pensacola, Florida, but I just train in Mobile. I don't like training in the state. I don't like training in the city or town that I'm staying in, if you get what I'm saying.
I got you. So you
But
train in Mobile, but you're from Pensacola
correct.
for sure. And what
Yeah.
was it like in Pensacola? Did you grow up in like a rough area or a nice area?
I grew up basically how everybody else grew. We didn't have a silver spoon. I basically had to find ways to make money type ordeal. That type of deal. But it's 50-50. It's up and down with it. It's just like I said, a lot of people, bro. I come from a lot of different type of things and shit. But it's just part of the struggle. Shootouts, robs, jail time, whoop whoop. You know what you want to call it. I just go by it every day. Just dealing with it.
Right. And I guess street fighting was a way that you saw that you could get out of that stuff, where you could, I don't even know if you thought you could make money out of it, but that's where you kind of put your energy at some point in life.
Nah, bro. Honestly though, fighting was just something we just did just for fun. Just something that the homies got up and did. Um, And then the fighting stuff is kind of it found me. Let me just say that. So it was more like I was already fighting. I was already in the street fighting games. Type of shit like that. So it just kind of just happened. I'm glad it happened. I thank Allah for that. But fighting just always been big in like let me just say my history and stuff like that. So it was nothing.
Mm-hmm. And like growing up, you were just getting street fights easily, like in the neighborhood, or because you seem like you were in some organized street fighting shit, like almost like some Kimbo Slice stuff.
Yeah, it was a lot of stuff was organized like in the street fighter stuff back then. But honestly, bro, it wasn't to get away. It was just something really just to do. You know what I'm saying? Like we ain't had nothing else to do. If we didn't feel like leaving where we from, the block, the hood, the trench, whatever you want to call it, whoop whoop. We'll just, chill, parlay, we slot box in the middle of the street and sometimes we'll put the gloves on to have fun with it. But when MMA and stuff came around, we ain't no shit about that. We just been, punching each other and shit like that, and grabbing each other. We used to call it throw them up, bust them up. You know what I'm saying? So all the MMA stuff, wasn't new to me. It was more so like how you said, organized, if you can say.
Mm-hmm. Right. And how did you become a notorious out there, like you're saying?
I guess let me see how you got Mazadov. You know what I'm saying? Mazadov, bad motherfucker. He had the BMF belt. So he was like the bad motherfucker of like, of Florida. Why I'm saying I'm the notorious street fighter because I'm bringing something new. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I lost, cool, woo, woo, whatever. But I know what I got in me. I know what I can bring. I know I can be the next, big things from out the states or whatever country and all that. It's just that I call myself the notorious because, and a lot of people did a lot of stuff like me. I never had really a team. When I did, the shit crumbled. Um, I never had like that substantial finance, being financed all the time. I had to go out there and go get it 24/7. I never had really the friendship parlay type of deal, because most of my people that I was friends with was dead or they wasn't here. You get what I'm saying? So like a lot of people around me has already had that. So I call myself notorious street fighter. Like, on top of that, I'm the reaper. I come reap, you reap what you sow, I pull up on you, woo woo, we handle business. But the notorious part from the street fighter part is that I'm very known, and if I do need to get active and stuff, I can get active in the ring or whatever the case it may be. And people respect me on that. A lot of people already labeled me as a notorious street fighter. From out of Pensacola, Florida. You know what I'm saying? Because they know I can strike, I can grapple. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going with it. I'm flowing with it. I like it. I love the Reaper. That's me. But if people want to look at it as the notorious street fighter from Florida, guess what? That in my eyes, that's like some street fighter shit. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm down Sub Zero some shit. But 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 that's really it though, bro. Be for about the notorious part.
Street fighters aren't that common, and like you're saying, you're kind of like a real fighter, coming from that
Yeah.
background and stuff. And
Uh-huh.
were you saying like you were kind of hitting licks and stuff like that while you're fighting? Like that's how you're getting money and stuff like that. You weren't be
Yeah, like
able to work a
doing
job and stuff.
like when I say hitting licks, I'm saying like doing odd jobs. You get what I'm saying? Like cut somebody or some shit like that. So that's what I mean by hitting licks, not
Okay.
selling dope.
For sure, for sure. All right, and then how did the transition to the UFC? Because at some point you must have gotten serious and started competing in this shit, right? Because it was just in the streets, and then you transitioned somehow to kickboxing and competing in this.
Bro, honestly, all this, bro, man. All this, bro, was just to get in shape. And then I seen that I had a talent with it and it seemed like I can go. So I took it and ran with it. The UFC, be real with you, bro. I used to tell a lot of people like back then I wasn't ever focused on going to the UFC. I was just fighting. Stuff was just moving so quick. Boom, 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 boom. And when my boy Dean Tour got me the call to fight on the contender series, I was like, bet, let's go. So like I say, everything happened for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So if it wasn't meant, and I'm gonna still say this to the day I die, if it wasn't, ouch, if it wasn't meant for me to be in the UFC, I wouldn't be here. Cause that contender fight, I could have lost it. You know what I'm saying? Now
Right.
it's all about what you do afterwards. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. And one thing I'm kind of curious about too is like, where was your mindset at? Because you've also kind of mentioned it before your last fight, how you've kind of come back into a good mindset, which we'll kind of talk about. But when you were coming up and fighting and stuff, what was your mindset like? Were you kind of going through some tough times? Were you always like mentally
All right,
solid and
bro.
shit like that?
Nah, back then, bro, like it was stressful time, peaceful time, but it was fun at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like when we knew we didn't really have no money and stuff like that, like we all put our money together, you know what I'm saying? And then we went and did it. You know what I'm saying? Even if we had to put like all the little quarters and all that shit together just to get a 20-ounce drink or some shit like that. We did it. Everybody waterfall that bitch real quick, and you know what I'm saying? So back then it was fun. Now, like I tell a lot of people, getting used to it now and like understanding not putting your personal with business because the UFC is business. I love my job. I love the UFC. You know what I'm saying? But it's business, so you got to treat it like a business. You just can't be stupid. You just can't take certain shit. You can't do certain shit. You feel me? You gotta be smart about your business process. Like I always say, make smart business moves, right? So that's what I now knowing now. Like I always used to put my personal with my business, and that's what fucked me up.
I got you. You almost feel like you kind of got into the UFC quickly and then you had to learn how to still deal with some of the stuff you maybe hadn't been able to overcome yet because you got into the UFC pretty quick, right? After starting MMA.
Oh yeah, but listen. Even as when I was amateur, I was throwing in. You know what I'm saying? I got adapted a couple times. Woo, 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 bum, bum. Pro, thrown in. Boom. So, my bad.
You're good.
So like I'm already used to being thrown in the water. Yeah, I'm in the UFC. It's a higher stake. That's why I say I'm treating this shit like business. You got to know how to take certain business moves so you don't, how can you say re-injure yourself or run into a back door.